Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Brent Lesheim, Renaissance Man, Part 5. So, hello, Mr. Lesheim.
Hey, Mr. Ray.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
It's nice, always a pleasure to have my very good friend, Mr. Brent Lesheim here.
Yeah.
And going back to 1986.
Uh-huh.
And so it's nice that you're willing to
Yeah.
expound and share, open up about your life. So
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
very nice because not many people will do that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that we could talk for a while about your depression. We both have had depression, and
Yeah.
yours has been, I think, tougher. And we've both recovered, so it's nice
Yeah.
for a lot of people have had depression,
Right.
And it's also nice for them to know about another person's experience, because depression is kind of isolating. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's like this selfish hell you're
Oh,
living in.
yeah. Yeah, right.
And so it's nice and you think maybe you're the only one
Right.
who's going through it.
Right.
And
I feel like I'm the only one.
so it's kind of nice I think it might be nice for some people to
Yeah.
see that they're not alone, and to know about recovery, that there is hope. Because I think your life is an inspiration. Because that's the point is to recover from depression,
Right.
and to then go on and live our lives and do stuff.
Right.
So what would you? So go ahead and you can talk about that, about your depression and recovery.
Well, I can trace being back anxious and depressed all the way to nursery school. So, it wasn't as severe then. I would just catch glimpses of it, but little did I know about the storms I would go into in the future with depression. So, it slowly got worse over the years, more anxiety as I grew older. But it wasn't, I guess it wasn't, well, it was somewhat disabling. I didn't get good grades in school because I couldn't concentrate, or I didn't want to concentrate on the schoolwork. But, and then when I hit junior high, that was like a major crisis point for me. I had a hard time dealing with entering junior high school because of all the energy. There was all this energy, manic energy, like with the kids running around, and some kids were intent on studying, other kids were intent on totally rebelling against the system, and I was kind of stuck in the middle. I didn't know where I stood really, and that caused me a lot of anxiety. I remember the first day coming home from junior high, I was crying because it was such a stressful day, and I felt that was the first time I really felt kind of hopeless for a while, for a day or so. And then I went and talked to my mother and father about it, and we went over to my grandparents' house, and I kind of settled down when I was at my grandparents' house. And but anyway, and that depression carried on all the way up until the past year and a half, I've had great improvement in my outlook about life, and it's the first time where I feel like I can hold on to something stable and go with it. Part of the depression, I got involved with alcohol and some drug usage, and that was detrimental, and I don't recommend anyone experiment with that. It's not the answer. And and by the time I was 22, I had stopped drinking, and I was sober for about 2 years, and then I got hit with this very deep depression and anxiety, and I didn't know where to go for help, and so I went to the emergency room, and I saw a doctor, and she told my mother that your son is very, very sick, and I felt sick, and since then it's been a slow recovery. I've had some, I guess I've dipped back into the old depression several times where I felt like I was where I had at that first episode, which was hopeless situation, and each time I've come back, but it takes a long time to come back from these episodes of depression. It took me like a year each time, and but now I feel like with your support and my family's support and my guru's support, and that I've been able to rebuild, find a solid base again to stand on and work from there. So that's where I'm at now. I still have a long way to go, and but things, for the first time, things look up for me. I mean, there's still challenges. Everyone has them, but I feel like I'll be able to deal with them now with my religious teachings that I'm involved with. So they've helped me. They've actually saved my life.
Do you want to talk about your association with Self-Realization Fellowship and Paramahansa Yogananda?
Yeah. Well, I was introduced to Self-Realization Fellowship through you. You introduced me. You gave me Autobiography of a Yogi, which I read. It was some 25 years ago. And I remember that after reading that book, I was going to Cleveland State at the time, and I went back to I went to the school that morning, and I did feel an effect from reading that book, but I didn't take it seriously. I just thought, it's maybe my imagination or something, but I did feel a positive effect from it. And over the years, I haven't really followed the teachings too much, but I guess they were always there, and you were always there trying to encourage me to go on in my life. And even when it was very difficult, I didn't feel like I had any direction, and but you were always there trying to bolster me up. And but so I applied for the teachings of Self-Realization Fellowship, and I've had them now for I don't know, it's about 1991 or 92, but now this past year I've been really feeling like they mean something to me, and I've been trying to practice them more diligently to the best of my ability, and they've helped me a lot tremendously. I mean, like I said, they've saved my mind. So, because my mind was on a course of self-destruction, and I realized that I try not to blame anyone for my situation. I used to blame my parents and society about my problems, but I realized when it comes down to it, the only person I can really blame is myself for getting myself into this situation in the first place. But I'm trying to slowly dig myself out of the pit that I put myself into through Self-Realization Fellowship. So that's about that. That's really grateful to have these teachings. They've saved my life.
Yeah, and the law of karma and reincarnation, I think, are a big help. That God's perfect justice. And because people don't believe in reincarnation, so they think, they don't know that we've lived in past lives and we're dealing with the effects of that karma now. And so if you accept that and believe that can help. Like, you can change things instead of, because as long as you're blaming, nothing's going to happen. And so I find I think you have a very inspiring life, because you got through it all those years, because it went on for many, many years, and really horrible depression.
Right.
And you stayed alive. You didn't kill yourself, and and you were trying. You're trying to live right.
Right.
So and I think and eventually, things turned around because your karma changed, and you endured. So I think it's wonderful, and I congratulate you, and
Thank you.
I'm very happy because you've been my dear friend all these years, and it was so tough to see you going through that. But I always believed that things would change eventually.
Yeah.
Things take time.
Right.
People are impatient, and
their
lives are often bad, and they're going to be not going to get better. But you were trying.
Right. I mean, I had
trying.
Also, that's what kept me going was, first of all, I mean, suicide. I was thinking about that for many years, but I was afraid of it. That I knew it wasn't. There was something I knew one shouldn't do that because it was, taking your own life and it would affect people around you. And I valued my family, even though we've had our issues and problems, but I didn't want to do that to my family either. And I felt by doing that would like put a mark and destroy everything my family has tried to work for by first coming here to this country in the late 1940s, early 50s as immigrants, and I felt that would just destroy my family.
And you also knew that your pain wouldn't be eliminated.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I've been suicidal myself, and it's been
Yep.
And but anyway, the main thing. So I'm so happy that you're alive. That we're both alive. So
right.
Would you like to talk about your life today and what's going on with you, the different activities you're involved in, and your routine?
Well,
what interests you?
Yeah. Well, I guess creativity interests me.
Oh.
I'm interested in the artistic side of things, philosophical things, and I would always like creating something, but I never was able to develop a continuity where I was able to keep with it. Something always interrupted it, whether it was depression or just being a wild, stupid kid. I never was able to focus. So, but now I feel the pieces are starting to come together where I'm starting to get this focus again, where I'm able to kind of make sense of the disparate parts of my life.
Oh.
And trying to express that and put it together, and maybe like we're doing now is trying to create something. And
Hold on.
Okay.
He'll cut this out. When he comes out, we'll pause.
Oh, okay.
We'll pause when he redoes the thing.
Yeah.
There. Yeah. Yeah. When he's standing there, just stop talking for a short time.
Okay.
Okay. Well, and you were saying.
Well, I feel like my life is coming together more, and I'd like to express that idea that in some kind of medium, and what we're doing.
Hold on a minute. Sorry about that.
No.
Okay. Okay. You were saying? Sorry.
Well, I like to express my life in some kind of medium. Bless you.
Thank you. Okay.
And I, even as a little kid, when I would try to do something like color an Easter egg, I always had an idea what I wanted to do, and I would start on that idea, and then it would kind of get away from me, and I would get frustrated, and it would turn out to be something I didn't really plan on doing, but it happened anyway, and at the time, I didn't realize it's part of the creative process. When you're young, you want things to be perfect. You got to do things, whether it's math or doing a picture, you try to do your very best at it. And so but I've always liked the creative process, and that's where I want. I enjoy films. I like watching good movies. I like good music, and I like reading. I like physical exercise. Getting out, getting some exercise, and I like talking to people, and which all these things, I guess, were always there in the back of my mind, but now they're coming more to the forefront of my mind. So, and I'm able to do these things with more vitality and inspiration, and hopefully it'll keep going that way. So,
you Brent brought up something. You've had an issue with perfectionism.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I don't, I'm not sure where that comes from, but I've always been a perfectionist, and it's like, it's like looking at the trees instead of the forest sometimes. I try to get down to so perfect of doing something that I totally become exhausted and exasperated, and yeah, it's like it. Yeah, I don't know where that comes from, but
Are you getting better at that now? Of not letting that become a problem?
I'm getting better because I see that when you get to that point where you're becoming exhausted and exasperated, it's just a waste of time, really, to keep trying to push it, because I don't know. Sometimes you got to give your input on what you're doing, drawing or painting or filming or whatever, or reading history, and you can just go on and on and on. I don't know, trying to perfect something, and I don't know. I guess they say no one. They say even the great masters, they've never felt that their work was finished, even though they presented to the public as completed,
or good enough.
Or good enough, exactly. Yeah. So, but just the creative process is fun, and I've always enjoyed that. And whatever it is, writing, painting, doing videos, and so.
So you're learning to maybe take a break if you're real tired.
Exactly.
Not work too long.
Exactly.
And then finish something as best as you can and move on to something else.
Exactly. Moving on.
Instead of
yeah.
trying I'm trying to make it perfect.
Right.
Because you can't.
No, you can't.
And then you're frustrated.
Right.
And you're like,
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, you enjoy swimming.
Yeah, I like swimming. It's relaxing. It relaxes my body. Good for the joints and everything, and muscles. And I like it because there's the only resistance is the water when you're swimming. It's not like you're overdoing it with weights and stuff and tearing your body up, lifting too much heavy weights. And because I used to be into weightlifting for years, but I didn't really enjoy it.
You have a lot of people in your life.
Yeah, I guess so.
So you want to talk about the human relations that you have today, all your friends and the people you interact with, and
yeah,
that itself is a creative expression, right? Human relations.
Right.
And very, very interesting. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I do have some friends, and a lot of them are going through difficult times too, and but at least they're trying. They're trying their best to get through life, improve, and I don't know. I've never really had too many close friends in my life. I guess in reality, we all only have maybe 2 or 3 really close friends in our lives. I believe that. Most people, are, you're friendly with each other and you're acquainted with each other. But I think deep relationships, maybe, I don't know, I would say maybe 2 or 3, maybe more, maybe 4 or 5 at the most, I would say. And
this now you've been going to this depression group for quite a while, 10 years?
Oh yeah, maybe 11 years.
Now, what's the name of the group?
The Depression Bipolar Depression Support Network, I think.
Now you've been actually, when I look back, that was like a huge step in your life that really led to a lot of progress. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but it took a long time. I didn't like going to these groups for a number of years. I didn't feel comfortable. I felt ill at ease, but now I feel pretty comfortable at them.
Do you want to talk about what happens at those meetings with those people?
Well, a lot of people come in and they're most of them are kind of beat up from the world, and they come in and they talk about their depression and their issues and their fears, and some people, are worse off than others, and you can see why people are the way they are, because of I don't like to preach, but because of choices they've made in their lives, and you don't blame them for it. I don't blame I'm only responsible for myself, but no, there's a lot of people that I guess they need these groups, and they're important.
I'm sorry. What impressed me? I went to those for a while. And it seems like they're very respectful.
Yeah.
And they're not telling people what to do. They're really good at listening to people, and it's that whole. I think that's appealing.
Right.
The fact that people they respect each other, and
Right.
there's kindness.
Yeah, there is kindness.
Kindness and respect, and
Right.
it's not like you're not telling you should do this, and nobody's telling people what to do.
That's right.
Which
right.
You get in a lot of places.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought
yeah.
it's kind of a gentle and a subtle group, and you can see
Yeah.
why it's helpful. Things take time, and so,
Right.
so these people, they've had other people fed up with them, like, what's wrong with you?
Right,
And then,
exactly.
And then
Yeah,
you guys, they all accept each other.
Yeah.
So they have this nice friendship, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Because they all experience this depression or whatever mental illness, and I think the symptoms are pretty universal when you're in that state. It's a bad state to be in, and
Right.
so
let's see, what else? Anything come to mind you like to get into, like to delve into, and
yeah,
is important to you right now? That's
yeah.
a burning passion, or or something you're interested in, or
Yeah. Well, just trying to put the pieces of my life back together, so I get some kind of coherency in my mind about myself, who I am, what I am, where I come from, and because so many of these things I couldn't focus on because of my depression, and that's my passion, is trying to figure out what I need to do to follow my passion, what my passion actually is, and slim it down to a point where I can really focus on it and not be distracted by all these side things that are going on in life that we all have. These side issues. Where you develop your concentration on one thing, basically.
And for a while, it was the guitar.
Yeah, right. Classical acoustic guitar, right?
For, what, 2 years?
About 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Really amazing.
Yeah.
That was something.
Right. Yeah.
You really applied yourself.
Yeah, I did, but after 3 years, I had enough of applying myself in that way. It was getting kind of hard, and
Time to move on.
Right. I still have the guitar, and who knows what I'll do with it. Sometimes I think about just picking it up and plucking it a little bit, making some sounds, and see where that goes. So I learned it was flamenco teachings that I was doing, and so I'm still interested in that, but I don't practice the guitar every day like I used to. But,
soccer was a big
soccer
part of your life. You want to talk about your soccer career, and
from the time I was, I think 8 or 9, I think, to the time I was 21. Soccer was my reason for living. And that's all I had my family, which was important. So soccer and my family, that was my reason for living, and that's all I could do. I wasn't a good student, and I had low self-esteem, but soccer was the one thing that I could hold on to and feel good about myself to some respect. But then I would also beat myself up, thinking, okay, I'm not as good as this guy or that guy. And
perfectionist.
I remember I made a pact with myself when I was about 11 or 12. I said, all right, I'm going to be the best soccer player in the world. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, that means I got to be as good as Pele and Franz Beckenbauer and whoever, George Best and all these guys. And I thought, oh, okay. And every time I would fall short, I would really beat myself up. And, that was my dream. I wanted to be the best I could be in soccer. But
you had a lot of interesting ethnic encounters with European teams, right, in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So you want
right.
You want to talk about your ethnic soccer encounters?
Yeah. Well, after I graduated high school, I started playing for this Serbian men's team. They were called Beograd United, and they were a good team. We were pretty good, and they were good. They were good people, and had some good times. But that only lasted for about a year, and I don't know why I stopped playing for them. But I met another guy that liked soccer, and he said he was playing for this Ukrainian men's team, so he got me to go to try out with this Ukrainian men's team, and so I did, and I played with them for about a year.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, how were the Ukrainians different from the Serbs?
I felt the Serbs were much more. There was more passion, it seemed to me, in their wanting to play and just in life. The Ukrainian team didn't seem as they were more reserved. Yeah, but I liked playing for the Serbian team. That was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Branko?
Well, Branko, he was my coach in high school and junior high.
Serbian.
My dad. Yes, he was Serbian. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything?
He was good. He was a good coach. Very strong. And, tried to tell you what he wanted to be done out on the field, and he would back you up with a lot of encouragement when you did something good. And when you did something bad, he wouldn't really say much, but but when it was good, he tried to encourage you.
Now, your father is from Germany and your mother is from Latvia. You want to talk about those two countries and what they mean?
Yeah.
For you. You've been going to the Latvian church here a lot with your mother.
Right.
And went a lot of encounters with Latvians.
Right.
Talk about that?
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
I started going to the Latvian church from the time I can remember. My parents would take us there, and
the church's name is?
The United Latvian Lutheran Evangelical Church of Lakewood.
It's on Detroit?
Yes.
Detroit Road in Lakewood.
And Detroit and Andrews in Lakewood. Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember going there when I was a little boy, but I didn't understand the language, and so my mother decided that we would go to a place where they speak English. So we went to joined the Methodist Church in Rocky River, and I understood things a little better, but still I was pretty cloudy thinking about what the pastor was talking about. I mean, I remember he's just, God, Jesus, and and I don't know, the good news, stuff like that. And I didn't know what it meant really, didn't understand it. So, but anyway, so I got away from the Latvian church, but I would attend social functions there once in a while. But it's been within the last year where I started to really go back with my mother, because she's been going at least twice a week to the church, and for all these years, and I enjoy it. I'm starting to learn the language a little better, and meeting some Latvian people, and I feel sort of like a prodigal son.
Okay.
Returning to the church. And
what do Germany and Latvia mean to you? Those two countries. That's kind of a tough question.
Yeah. Well, Latvia means my mother.
Right.
Germany means my father.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, I have visual images of both that come into my mind. I mean, Latvians are growing up. To me, they seem kind of depressed because they were chased away from their country by the communists, in World War II. They had to leave, so a lot of them were always yearning for their homeland to go back. And it's finally happened. They're able to go back now, but my father, well, Germany, I think of Hamburg, where he grew up, and the port. It's a port city on the Baltics, on the North Sea, and my dad. I always have images of just like ships and activity around the harbor where he grew up, because he used to play around the harbor and stuff, and he saw a lot. I guess he must have seen a lot of interesting things, because Hamburg is the major port, and he saw ships were coming in from all over the world, and he would, see these ships come in, and they had the names of the boat and the country they were from on the ship and everything. And I just think of him running around, being a kid in Hamburg, playing soccer, and I have a desire to go back and visit Hamburg again. I've been there twice, but I would like to go back again. And they mean something to me. I mean, yeah, definitely. They mean something more to me now than they ever did.
Do you feel that? Of course, they both have. Both Germany and Latvia have some pretty tragic history.
Right.
With the Soviet Union, with Latvia, and Nazi Germany, and
yes.
then, so that's. Have you come to terms with that tragic, dark history of your parents?
Yeah. Well, I'm coming to terms with it. I don't think I've completed that process yet, but.
Does it trouble you?
It makes me think about my life. The troubles I've had in my life, and the troubles my parents must have had, and grandparents, and so on and so forth. But it makes me think why I am the way I am. Partially why I am the way I am. But I like I said, I try not to blame my parents or forefathers for what my life, what has happened in my life, but. Now I'm able to understand things better because of looking into their past and history.
Right.
So
all that trouble.
Right.
What those people went through.
Right.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about art? About different? You've been into. I think you're into done some painting.
Yeah.
You've done some sculpture.
Right.
With clay.
Right.
And,
right.
And like toy.
Right, trying to make little toys.
Toy soldiers?
Toy soldiers, yeah. I've always loved toy soldiers.
Uh-huh.
And, well, I have 2 pictures that are on exhibit at the Westlake Porter Library through the Far West Center. This is an art show of people who belong to this art group at Far West Center, and our pictures have been put on display there, and they've been up there now for a couple weeks. So there's a person who was selected from my group that will represent great northeastern Ohio in this show. So there were other agencies involved in the show too, but she was selected from our group to go to this. They're having like a finals contest for artwork, and she's in it. So. That's pretty interesting.
Well, we've had a pretty good talk here. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you'd like to talk about right now? We can do so. If you something that's you'd like to get into before we wrap things up.
Yeah. No, right now I could talk on and on and on, I guess, but maybe that's for another day.
Okay.
But,
so
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and opening up about your life and making a historical record. I think this would be real nice, very interesting. And I like I said, I thank you for your wonderful friendship all these years since 1986. 14 plus 30. Was it how many years? 14 plus 19, 33. Is that right?
Yeah, maybe 33 years.
So. And you're an inspiration. It's wonderful. Just you're a good guy, and God bless you. And we'll have another session in a month.
Okay.
So thanks so much. Thanks, Brent. And
thank you.
Sure. And dear viewer, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.